It has been meditated upon, argued and fought over for thousands of years. Hinduism is the world's oldest faith, and it brings together within it everything from the most soulful contemplation to the most boisterous rituals. Just under 80% of Indians define themselves as Hindus. India has been a majority Hindu country and the world's most diverse and plural nation for a very long time. But what does Hinduism really mean today? Can it address our deepest anxieties and our most pressing questions? Does it divide or does it unite? I will ask all those questions to some of the finest minds in the world in this very special series called Being Hindu. I'm Hindol Sengupta. Welcome to my show Being Hindu, where I try to contextualize what it means to be Hindu in the 21st century. I'm delighted to have a man on my show who can only be described as legendary. This is a man who's taught for 50 years, generation after generation of Indians, how to understand our culture, tradition, and of course that language of the gods, Sanskrit. I'm of course referring to Dr. Kapil Kapoor, the man who also wrote the Encyclopedia of Hinduism. Dr. Kapoor, it's a rare honor and privilege to have you on the show, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
I'm very happy and I feel honored to be here.
I want to begin by asking you a question. A question that has come up again, a question that we must finally definitively answer, and you're the best person to answer. The swastika, which is considered holy by the Hindus for thousands of years, was misappropriated wrongly, criminally, some would say, by the Nazi party and Hitler. And why is that always held up as an example? Even in a recent article, the construction of the building where Sanskrit is taught at the Jawaharlal Nehru University, where you taught for many, many, many years, which is designed in the shape of the swastika, was questioned again, linking it to Nazism. Why is this happening, sir? Why are people making such a vile connection?
Well, if you associate something which we hold as sacred with something evil in another situation, that doesn't make what we hold as sacred itself evil. That somebody misused it or used it, I will not go into that question. But the fact is that it was not borrowed from Hindus. Swastika is a Proto-Indo-European, figure. I won't even call it a symbol. It's a figure. And it is like our, yantras and other, it's a geometrical design. And it is held sacred not only by Hindus, but it is held very sacred by the Jainas.
So could you tell us a little bit about why it's sacred? Why is the swastika so sacred to us? Many people don't know that.
You see, swastika is one of the forms which are sacred. As I said, the yantras, Shri yantra and other. They are in the form of a triangle or they are squares, because if you read Natya Shastra, that is about, there is always a debate about dates of Indian texts and thinkers, because we are not a biographical people. For us, individuals are not important, ideas are important. The Natya, the Natyashala, the theatre where the performance takes place, is described in, I think, the 4th chapter, maybe 3rd, 4th chapter, and geometrical, with a very clear calculation. So, although geometry was the central science of the Greeks, just as language was the central science of the Hindus, I am for the moment, using the same word. But Indians, this Jyotisha, which is considered astrology today, which in fact is astronomy, is in fact mathematics. Because Aryabhatta, our astronomers, They measured the movements and the distances, measured exactly, and by observations. So, mathematics is an ancient science in India. As our good friend Obama said in Bombay, that zero is your invention, and without zero there would be no computer science.
That's right.
So is the value of pi.
Yes.
So there are many things.
Yes.
And
in fact, I mean, as one mathematician, American mathematician, has written, actually, the Pythagoras theorem, for instance,
yeah,
should
there
be
is
called
a
the
Sholava
Bodhayanas
Sutras
theorem.
in, yes, it is. In fact, there is. And because, you know, we were defeated on the battlefields, and we were subjugated by force. Although the mind was not subjugated till 19th century, it's when with the British that the mind, you see, there is an ancient hymn in Atharva Veda. It is called in the Prithvi Sukta. It's a Sukta, Prithvi Sukta, where the poet says, Atharva Veda is one of the four.
Yes, of course.
It is the fourth.
Yes.
And maybe not many people know, Atharva Veda is the Veda of the Zoroastrians, the Atharvans, the
yes.
fire worshippers.
Yes.
There is a shloka, O Mother Earth, destroy those who want to subjugate my Rashtra by Shastra or Shastra. This is Atharva Veda. Unfortunately,
by weapons or by knowledge, so
or by Shastra. See, only one matra ka bhed hai.
Haan.
Shastra or Shastra mein.
Right.
And without Shastra, you cannot defend the Shastra.
That's right.
And without Shastra, you have no civilization.
That's right.
No civilization.
So civilization needs weapons and intellect.
It needs Shastras,
Yeah.
and to defend Shastras,
It
to
needs
defend
Shastras.
what Shastras stand for, Dharma, to
Yes.
defend Dharma, you need strength of arms. So your gods, all gods carry arms, weapons. You know, Rama carries a bow, Krishna carries a
Sudarshan
chakra.
chakra.
You see, Indra has a bolt, they have a vahan and they have a weapon. Because it needs to be defended.
That's right.
I heard one Swami Ranganathanandji
Of the Ramakrishna
in
Mission.
1961.
Yes.
And I was very young then, and Swami Ranganathanji was not that old,
Right.
at 61. His line got etched in my mind.
Right.
He said, ours is a beautiful civilization, but it needs to be defended. Defended. So you have in this country, in the tradition, in our intellectual tradition, I'm hesitating to use the word history. You have records of
Yes.
thinkers, records of dharma raksha. You see,
That's
the
right.
defenders of dharma.
Dharma.
Now the dharma has been defended both by Shastra and by Shastra. So man like Shankaracharya, defended by Shastra.
Yes.
But also established the Nath Sampradaya, the Knight Templars, the Akhadas,
Yes.
the 10 Akhadas which still exist today.
That's right, yeah.
The sadhus, you know, the
warrior sadhu.
Naga sannyasis.
Right. The
He
warrior
established the system. They were warrior sadhus. And Guru Gobind Singh, who is unique because he comes at the, you see, you begin with the Adi Shankaracharya
Ji.
and you come to Guru Gobind Singh in the 17th, 18th
right.
century
That's right.
through a long line of defenders.
Yes.
And Guru Gobind Singh is unique because he was 3 in 1. He was a poet, he was a soldier, and
a
he
monk.
was a monk.
Yes.
Because he wrote Shastras also.
Yes.
He fought with the Shastra.
Yes.
And he established an order, Khalsa,
That's right.
militant order.
Yes.
So you see, the Hindu way of life which is the alternative
Yes.
to contemporary civilization, the only alternative, which is why it is perhaps hated by all, because it is the alternative. And it is a natural alternative. The natural impulses of man, you know, the natural, whatever we believe, whatever we have conceptualized, whatever we have constructed, we have done that emanating from the essentially harmonious nature of human beings. So you see, if you are born, a child who is born, he is in fact born a Hindu that way, because he smiles, he is aware of some power, and he is rid of, he doesn't have all the negative impulses, no avega, no avega, he is mera, tera, there is no other for him, but as he grows up, you know,
All
he
these
picks
things,
up all these things.
So tell me, sir, I wanted to ask you, if we did so many great things and if we are so plural, how is it that we have banes and evils and worries and issues within our system? How is it if the Hindu way of life is so vast and so all encompassing? Critics would say, what about the caste system?
No, yeah.
What about centuries of oppression? How did such a vital, integral, humane system also be capable of such injustice?
It is pluralistic, there is no doubt about it.
Right.
It's pluralistic.
Right.
No other civilization says there is a given truth,
Yes.
but the wise, you know, give it different names.
That's right. Yeah.
And there are different paths.
Absolutely.
And all paths lead to
The same
truth.
truth, yeah.
No other civilization says this.
That's right.
The modern civilization says globalization is a market, global market. We say the whole world is a family. No other civilization says this. And we are pluralistic. We have, you see, because look, there are two sources of human knowledge.
Right.
Only two.
Right.
One is the Hebraic, the
Yes.
other is the Vedic.
Right.
They are two antonymous
Yes.
sources of knowledge. The Hebraic system, which generated three faiths, Judaism, Islam and Christianity, Judaism, Christianity and Islam in that order, and the Vedic, which has generated Sanatan Dharma, Jainism, Buddhism, Sikhism. Four. Now they are
The West Asian religions and the Indic religions, so to speak. Yeah.
Religions will not use the word.
Faiths.
You see,
philosophies.
because religion,
Right.
religion means religion has five elements.
Fair enough.
You see, it has a church, it has a text, it has a deity,
Yes.
it has institutionalization,
Right.
that is a priestly class, and there is heresy. Heresy. And in Hinduism, none of these things is
That's
there.
right.
We don't have a deity.
Yes.
You want to believe in God, go ahead. Don't want to believe in God, don't. You want to believe in one, fine. Want to believe in two, Sitaram, Sitaram. You want to believe in many, go ahead and believe in
Yes,
many.
absolutely.
You want to believe in your own God, bring a stone from the river bed.
That's right.
And you start applying Roli and all that, and that's your God. So there is a cafeteria approach in the Hindu mind to most of the fundamental
Right,
things.
right.
So it's pluralistic. It's pluralistic. But then, as you say, why such system? In fact, social. There are three levels. The one is the social, one is intellectual, conceptual, one is practical. For any system, any way of life, or any civilization, you have to analyze it in these three forms. Now, in the social, remember one thing. Hindu civilization is the most ancient civilization that has survived. Perhaps you can say the Chinese, perhaps, but the Chinese
Were never colonized.
do not have a Rig Veda 5,000 years
That's
ago.
right.
So you have if the Hindus' way of life or Hindu civilization was so riddled with evil, so bad, how could it have survived? That fundamental question we should try to answer. Why has our civilization survived while other much more efficient, monistic, monotheistic civilizations perished? Well, we have variety, we have conflict because we are pluralistic. We are not monistic, we are not monotheistic. We don't kill people who think differently. We don't kill people. And that's why we keep on fighting among us, we keep on disagreeing, but we keep on living.
Okay.
Now, I was saying three ways you analyze: social and intellectual and practical.
Yes.
Now, Hindu society has certain institutions, Varna, Ashram, Dharma and Parivar. Three key words. Now, varna is a word which is used for color. It is also used for caste, what we call caste. It is also used for the letter of the alphabet, the sound of the alphabet.
The varna.
Now, the sound and the color, sound and the color. Now, if you look at the sound phonogram they make, they make charts. Or if you want to paint the house, you ask him to get you a color chart. You see, you cannot clearly move from one color to the other. That is, there is no discreteness. It is a continuum. Sound is a continuum, color is a continuum. In the same way, the caste is a construct in a continuum. And we'll start with the definition of one. It's a continuum, and it is a horizontal system. It was a horizontal system. You see, like there is no it's not a vertical system. There was no hierarchy. You see, my friend says that in a Purusha Sukta, where you see the feet as a Shudra, obviously the Purusha is lying down. In fact, he is lying down. So there is no hierarchy there.
Right.
And then at one time, he got up and the Brahmin went on top.
How did this happen then?
No, but listen to this, my friends engineers. He stood up and the Brahmin went on top. And these days, he is doing Shirshasana. The Brahmin is doing Shirshasana these days.
The Brahmin is at the bottom.
So, Purusha Sukta itself lends itself to all these interpretations. First, let's take the question. It was a horizontal system.
Right.
All horizontal systems, by virtue of the use that is made of them,
Yes.
or misuse,
Yes.
occasionally degenerate into vertical systems.
Right.
Earlier, there was no hierarchy.
Right.
And it is a mobile. You see, there are many Upanishads written by what we call Shudra.
Yes.
And in the Alvar literature, Nama Alvar, he was a Shudra.
That's right.
But you see, some of the greatest Bhakti, Shudra was not seen as a low category. Not at all. Not at all. It was a horizontal system. And there were 4. And a functional division. Functional. And in if you read Mahabharata, the earlier kings, the Mauryas, or if you read Chandragupta Maurya Arthashastra, the assembly of the king, you see, it had 4 Brahmins, and I know the proportion. The Brahmins and Kshatriyas 4, let's say. Then the Vaishyas are 6, and the Shudras are 4, and you see, every caste is represented. Every Varna is represented in that assembly, and the king is not free. He has to go by that. Now the question is, mobility was there, and mobility was there till we framed our constitution. Our constitution has now frozen the caste. It was never a frozen system. It was not a frozen system, and it was oppressive not in all over India, in entire Hindu society, in certain portions and parts of India. For example, I come from Punjab, and in spite of Mulkaraj Anand trying to defame Punjab, in Punjab there was no untouchability. There was hardly any consciousness of Varna system, you see. But in certain parts of India it was there. And one question that everybody must ask, from Mahatma Buddha to Mahatma Gandhi, everybody has criticized it. Modern people criticize it. Yet 2 things happen. In the constitution, you give constitutional protection to the system. Why? Secondly, all the great minds have been against it. Even then it survives. Why? Why is this system there? And it is not, it is a part and portion oppressive, but it makes a society cohesive. I give you one idea. India is hugely multiple, 1,67,000 jatis and 100 crore people. And if you just restrict yourself to one section, the Hindus, let's say, although this kind of Varna division is there even in the Christians and others.
And the Muslims,
but then,
Syrian Christians, for instance, have the same.
Restrict it. There also, then what do you find? That, you see, so many people, multiple jatis, they are all reduced to 4. In fact, it is if you are familiar with the Advaita, from multiplicity to 1.
Yes.
Multiplicity to 1.
Yes.
Through hierarchical categories.
Yes.
Is social structuring, this is through that. And then, then above all there is the rishi. See, ऋषि की कोई जात नहीं पूछता, ऋषि का कोई उद्गम, नदियों और ऋषि का कोई उद्गम और जात नहीं पूछता. They are the top. They are those who are at top.
And the sages,
those who are at top in this society, they are not part of this system. But the system survives because it must be serving some socially cohesive function.
Okay.
Purpose.
On that point, I want to...
And oppression. People often talk in the last 1,000 years. Now, in the last 1,000 years, all the Hindus were being oppressed in more parts of India, because Hindus were all subjugated people. Their temples were broken. They were not allowed to ride. They were not allowed to worship. They were not allowed to have their festivals. Where was the time for a small section to be oppressive to the other? And mind you, the great Bhakti movement, which is a theistic movement, which is a theistic movement which upholds the Hindu conceptual system, most of the Bhakti poets are from what we call the oppressed classes. They are not Brahmins. How many Brahmins are there in the Bhakti poets?
Movement. That's right.
How many kings of India were Brahmins?
True.
And the Brahmanism and Brahmanical oppression, I think, take this opportunity to disabuse the mind of people who use the word Brahmanical without thinking about it. There were 3 sampradayas. The Brahman sampradaya, Brahman, that is Vedanta, because Brahma is the category, and the Bauddha sampradaya and the Jaina sampradaya. The Bauddha and the Jainas called it the Brahman sampradaya, and they also called it the Vaiyakaranas, the grammarians. Now in English, unfortunately, the Brahma, B-R-A-H-M-A-N, Brahman, B-R-A-H-M-A-n, and the Brahmana Granthas, B-R-A-H-M-A-n. And those are highly educated people, English educated people, when they read B-R-A-H-M-A-N, Brahman, they thought it is Brahman caste. It is not. It is Brahman. People who cooperate with the core category of Brahma.
That's right.
Core category of Brahma. You mentioned Vedanta. You see, Advaita. So it's from multiplicity to so many. I tell you, there are within Varna, there are so many other classifications. If you read and structure this, you see the structure, how closely it is structured. That's why it has survived. Why it has survived? Because it is highly pluralistic, multiple, and basically all paths lead to truth.
I want to then come, as we come to the end of this interview, to the word Hindu itself.
And what it stands for.
And what does it stand for?
Yeah.
And what does it really mean? Because there are so many people argue that because there are so many philosophies in Hinduism, actually Hinduism has no one philosophy. And that's taken as a negative.
No.
So if you could shed some light on that.
First of all, the word Hinduism is a recent word. In the introduction to the Encyclopedia of Hinduism, I have written a long article where I have explained that Hinduism, there is no belief system as Hinduism. And if somebody tells me that tell us about the philosophy of knowledge in Hinduism, I don't know what is Hinduism. You see, there is, this word has taken currency 150 years, 200 years when the British came. Earlier, the word Hindu, it comes from Indus, Intu. Even today, Chinese call India Intu. In fact, I was so surprised when I went to China, they say, Hindu? I said, great, somebody recognizes me as Hindu. I said, yes. He said, go. I was not checked. And there was one country where, we are treated with respect. So, Intu, Indus. Indian also comes from there. Indo. People who built civilization around Indus and who live beyond Indus. It's a Persian, old Persian word. Sa, Sindhu, river, Sa becomes Ha. Jaise our Sapta becomes Hafta. And
sorry, like Sapta Sindhu, 7 rivers.
So Hafta, it's Hafta. And Sa become Ha, Sindhu became Hindu.
That's right.
Those who live on the banks are Hindu. It was a purely geographical term of people inhabiting a land till Gyaneshwar in the 12th century, 11th, 12th century, and then Guru Gobind Singh in the 17th century used Hindu in opposition to the oppressing religion at that time. Now, Hindu is not a religion. It's not a religion. It is the social structure, the conceptual structure, and the practical way of life of the people who inhabit this land. And it's basically, it's not a religion, it's a knowledge system. It is a powerful knowledge tradition, perhaps the world's largest repository of knowledge texts. Witness, for example, more than 10 million manuscripts which still survive in spite of the burning and loss of time and all that. It's a way of life. It's not a religion. And it is highly multiple, highly varied. I have no problem going into a church. I have no problem going into a mosque if they let me go. I have no problem going into the
Gurdwara
Hebrew or the this. And
or a synagogue,
but I have no problem being an atheist. I have no problem being a total, radical and rejecting everything. I continue to be a Hindu. That's my freedom. That's why it is the alternative. It is not an imposition. Lord Krishna, after answering 17 questions of Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita, basically he is teaching him his duty.
Right.
Duty. In the 18th chapter, verse 63, he says, I have now told you everything. It is for you to decide. That is the freedom. That is the freedom that a Hindu enjoys. For convenience, we use the word Hindu, but one of the Sikh seminaries that invited me, they wanted me to speak on the Hindu knowledge. I told them, what is Hindu? You first tell me, what is Hindu? As far as I am concerned, you see, you are a Hindu, Sikhs are Hindus, Buddhists are Hindus, Jains are Hindus, Muslims are Hindus, everybody is a Hindu, people who live here, because there is something common. You can't deny the way we look at things, the way we look at life, it's common. And I told them that the first text of what you call Hindu, first text intellectual is Rig Veda, and the most recent text is Guru Granth Sahib. Rig Veda was the Vani of Rishis, poetry of Rishis. Guru Granth Sahib is the poetry of Bhaktas.
That's right.
Bhaktas from all over India, just as Rishis were from all over India. And as Kamfutska, Guru Granth Sahib is simply a what you call summum bonum of this civilization, which we people called Hinduism, whatever. I simply, because for convenience, if somebody questions my existence, then I'll say I am a proud Hindu, but that doesn't mean I hate others. Because for a Hindu, there is no other. Mind you, there is no other. In other civilizations, the knowledge is gained for power over others. But here, I am told, I must gain knowledge, but for power over whom? Over myself.
Yeah, the
because I am my enemy, I am my friend. The other is in me, not outside.
My last question, do you believe India is a Hindu country?
Well, I think it is. It is. If you go by the community of consciousness, attitudes.
But not in the, so culturally you're saying? Civilizationally?
Intellectually. Socially. And even in practice. For example, pilgrimage. Pilgrimage is a social practice. Tell me who doesn't do pilgrimage in India?
True. So culturally, right. But that is not divisive. That's what people don't understand.
That's not divisive.
That's not divisive. That is not to keep away anybody. This is not because the Hindu doesn't say, as you said, doesn't think of the other.
There's no other. And you see, for example, don't you think Christians or Christianity has hundreds of internal divisions?
Yes.
And yet we call them Christian. Islam has so many divisions. In fact, everybody knows that they have divisions. But they are all, we call them Islamic system.
That's right.
So, Hindu system has so many divisions. The only difference is that there is a tolerance and an acceptance, which is a feature of this. And the people who criticize, the intellectuals who criticize, they are all basically Hebraic. They are oriented in that monistic, monotheistic
tradition.
एक होना चाहिए. कौन सा है? Matter or mind. Matter or mind. and you have to take your choice. How can you have so
But
many?
the Hindu doesn't choose. It's
No.
matter and mind.
It's all there. You choose your, I choose mine.
Fair enough. Thank you very much, Dr. Kapoor, for sparing time. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.